Before we get started, let me read the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you've reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is roll call.
Larry Chesney.
Here.
Bruce Stammer.
Here.
Joe Everett. Stanley Hebert.
Here.
Brian Key. You have four.
Okay, the first item is to review the minutes of our last meeting and to see, do any of you have any corrections to the last meeting minutes?
I move we accept the minutes of the last meeting as written.
Second?
Second.
Have a second? All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. We have one variance request tonight, and then Thomas, will you give us a brief summary, and then we'll pursue with it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight's variance request is in Big Valley Campground, 455 Mountain Thrush Drive. It's map 95 EC, and it's actually two parcels, parcels 3 and 4. This is very similar to, it seems like every few months we do a Big Valley Campground variance, and this one is very much like the others. Little background there, the applicant is requesting this variance on the side and rear setbacks to allow placement of a carport. And just a reminder, the platted campground lots are addressed differently in our zoning regulations because they're way too small to be standard lots. We wouldn't do that today, but they are out there, and so they're addressed in a totally different location in the zoning code and treated in a different way with regards to setbacks. Specifically, the rear and side setbacks are supposed to be 5 feet, and the front setback can actually be 0 feet at the property line, but your front setback is measured off of the edge of pavement in those lots, so you got to have 15 feet off the edge of pavement. As I mentioned above, the owner actually has 2 lots, and those are lots 214 and 215 in Big Valley. The site plan that's been submitted shows that the existing trailer it's situated across both lots, and that is allowed in the platted campground lots. So we're really just looking at the side and rear setback. We ignore the middle line between the 2 lots. It doesn't come into play here, but to put the carport where they're wanting to put it, they'll need a reduction of those required rear and side setbacks from 5 feet to just about 1 foot at the closest point. It's not exactly parallel to the property line, so it's a little closer on one side than the other, is the way it appears in the exhibit that's been attached. But if the board finds through testimony and through the staff report that that you're inclined to approve it, like we did on our last variance a couple of months ago, I would recommend that you refer back to the findings that are in section 11 of the zoning ordinance, basically saying that if you approve it, you do so noting that those required findings have been met. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone here in favor of this request? Would you please come up to the microphone and tell us your name, please? So, Mr. Smith, according to this, there has been an official survey, correct? Yes. So you know. So you know where your property corners are, and you've got a rebar or something there. You know where they are. Okay. Okay. As you, have we had any complaints from the next door neighbor?
I talked to Shauna, and she said I could attach it to her house in 2 years. I had no problem at all.
Okay. What about from the POA?
Mr. Chairman, we've received no comments, complaints, or anything on this project.
Okay, what about from the homeowners association?
None at all.
That they
No.
do, they
No.
have to know about it because the sign's up in front of the place.
Yeah.
Okay. How'd you vote?
Mr. Chairman, just for the record, with regards to this, Big Valley does have their own architectural review board, and we don't have any authority over what they want or don't want, but they do internally review projects for the most part before we ever see them.
As you look at your property, there's the double wide, and then there's a concrete pad. Will you have to add on to the concrete pad?
No.
So this will go,
It's going to be just past the concrete pad for my driveway that's already there.
okay, you're covering the concrete that's there? Okay.
My wife and I actually did the home, and I've got over 5 8 trailer pad, and I had to make it wide enough to pull it all the way through.
Yeah. Okay.
This piece of property we had this 40 years.
You got good guttering on it? Are you gonna put good guttering on it?
Yes. Yes, I have the contractor doing his review. I believe it was with his, they drew the plans up for that time.
We did something similar to this about 2 years ago, directly across the street.
Do we have an architectural review board for Blount County?
No, sir.
I didn't think we did.
This is homeowners association.
Oh, okay, they do.
Mine has zoning.
Our architectural review is only applicable to commercial and industrial projects, so it's set up in our zoning regulations, and so when things go before the planning commission, we as staff know whether or not it's met those standards.
You make the move, approve.
Mr. Chairman, I again would remind to make the motion refer back to those findings in 11.6F.
Request met, your findings met. Correct?
Do who?
Added the motion that requested the findings are met.
Specifically,
11.6F.
11.6F. Stanley, can you add that to the motion?
Yeah, but now what's it on there for?
Yes, sir.
What?
In page 2 of the
Is
staff
this
report,
hardship? That's just all it is? But-
right there where it says section 11.6 variances, F is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so what you're saying is that you're granting the variance is the minimum needed to do this.
Yeah, this just so we have a reason to grant it. Yeah,
Correct.
I'll add that to it.
And I second it with that amendment.
Yes, is to approve.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
And Mr. Smith, we'll get a letter out to you, send it out tomorrow, so you'll have it early next week for your records. Well, actually, have you already submitted for the building permit? It's just on hold? Okay. Well, then we'll go ahead and finish up with the building permit. You should have it next week, too. All right? Thank you.